What's up, YouTube? So since I've been back making videos and I think I've got my rig to a place where it'll probably stay for a while, I thought I'd make a video and just go over kind of what I'm working with on my sim rig. And I'm going to link to a video I did years ago. This was like 2 houses ago that I was living at. My initial setup, which was a Thrustmaster T180 wheel that I got on Facebook Marketplace, tightened to like a stool, and I was sitting in a chair, and that was in a dining chair. That was my setup. So check that video out if you want to see kind of what I was working with before. So moving up to this direct drive wheel was a huge difference. If you can figure out a way to do it, like if it's makes sense cost wise, and you can figure out the spend, I cannot recommend enough this wheel. So it was built with Gran Turismo in mind from Fanatec, and they actually just recently announced that they're now the official wheel sponsor of Gran Turismo. So you've got the controls here that will control all of your brake balance, your your fuel mapping, traction control, all that stuff automatically controlled from here. You can obviously map all the other buttons, like I mapped my overtake or NOS or whatever that may be, DRS to this button, my rear view to the left hand view, and of course you got paddle shifters back here. So really sweet, and of course it is completely modular. So I don't have any other wheels at this point, but you could swap this out if you have like the Formula wheel or the new BMW wheel they just came out with, or the McLaren wheel. All those can go onto this setup. I do have the I got the premium bundle, so I got the extra power adapter here that brings it up to 8 Newton meters of torque, and you'll see here on my pedal set I've got the load cell brake pedal that came with it. That is the cool thing about this setup, is that you can get entry level and kind of add on to it. So you can start with just the wheel and base that does 5 Newton meters, and then you can add on the performance pack later to bring it up to 8. You can add the load cell brake pedal later to bring it up. So you can kind of get in if they have them. I think they just restocked them. When I bought this, they didn't have that bundle available. I pretty much had to get this one. But I think I saw like an email or something go out that they now have that 5 Newton meter bundle available if you want to check that out. And all of that is connected to this Next Level Racing GT setup. And I actually did this in pieces. So the cool thing about this setup is I started with just the wheel stand. And which is nice because if you go to direct drive, a lot of wheel stands and even some rigs are not strong enough to handle the torque that's generated from a direct drive wheel. So it's definitely something you want to keep in mind. If you're getting a direct drive setup, you got to make sure you've got something solid. You can't just strap it to like a different setup. So you want to make sure it can handle the torque from that. But the cool thing was, I actually got just this first and was just pulling up like my office chair to it. And then eventually added to it. So you just add, it just bolts on right here. All this came separately. And I added the seat, the Next Level Racing seat, about a month or 2 later. I added, this is where you can put like the shifter or whatever, but I just kind of use it as a little stand. I don't really use a manual shifter, but if you have one, you can add it. Something else I'll say, and the reason that I ended up really kind of getting the frame, if you go with the load cell kit, you're definitely going to want to get a dedicated cockpit, because just pulling up a chair to it. So this is the original brake, and you'll notice if you look back here, it's got this little foam piece right there, this little foam piece. That's what gives the resistance feel of a brake pedal. So you'll see when I push on it, I mean, there's a little bit of resistance there, but it's kind of travel based. So that in like an office chair pulled up won't be so bad. The load cell kit, you'll see, I mean, that's me pushing on it pretty hard. It takes a lot more pressure, so a load cell kit works on like a muscle memory pressure-based system, kind of more like an actual brake. So it gives you a lot more feedback, because it's kind of, you learn like your muscle memory and the pressure system that it takes to brake, kind of like in your real car. When you really want to brake, and you just kind of think about like when you freak out and you push on the pedal really hard, that pressure builds up and makes you brake a little better. So it's a little bit more, the feel is obviously better, and you can be more, I think, precise with it. But just something to think about. If you're going with the regular kit, you can probably get away with just doing a wheel stand and pulling up a chair. If you do the brake cell kit, I mean, you can hear me grunting as I push on it. If you do the brake cell kit, I would really recommend getting some sort of dedicated cockpit, because my issue was when I would push on it, my chair was on wheels, like it wouldn't go like flying back, but I mean, it would just move me back a little bit, and it helped, and I couldn't be consistent with my braking, because depending on how hard I hit it, sometimes I was scooting back a little bit and I'd have to keep adjusting it. So, you can do it if you have to, but if you go with the load cell kit, I definitely recommend getting a dedicated locked in cockpit that's, strapped in. But panning out, I have all of this set up on a just a gaming desk I got on Amazon that raises and lowers. The reason I do that is I can kind of lower it for when I'm sim racing. The cool thing is this whole rig is on wheels. So if I want to slide it out and pull my chair up and just do some regular gaming on the PlayStation, I can do that. I haven't really done it yet though, because like really, I mean, obviously the game I play the most right now is Gran Turismo. But I mean, the chair's comfortable enough. I've mainly just sit in this. So when I was playing Jedi Survivor recently, I essentially did all of that gaming in this chair, or I've got this really long HDMI cable that will come over to my projector and then just project on the screen. So, and it's a 4K projector. So I either, like if I'm playing like a story mission game or something that's not like super high latency where I need the monitor, I just bring that over to my projector. For my monitor, I just have the LG Ultra Gear, and this is the 120 hertz version. So it's not the top of the line one. The top of the line, you'll see I got my like light kit on there in the back. The top of the line one's a little bit more fancy, but PlayStation recently did an update that will actually do 120 frames per second. So that's the max it will do. So you really don't need anything more unless you're going to play on PC, which I don't have a gaming PC. I only play it on PlayStation. But I really wanted to take advantage of the 120 hertz that Gran Turismo does now. So I just went for the 120 hertz version. I think there was a 144 and like a 210. They could go tiers up. So it actually wasn't that bad because, you know, most PC gamers that this is kind of marketed to, 120 is considered like entry level. So it was nice to go ahead and I just got the gaming monitor, 120 hertz, you know, unless you're gaming on PC, don't buy anything over 120 because the PlayStation won't even support it. So, but that's what we're going with on the monitor. Other than that, are just some fun things. I got my camera here and I got a little mount that I can move around. I got my microphone set up right here. Got my ring light back there for when we're recording videos. And then I just got some fun stuff like my little die-cast 911. I got my wall art here of just different track layouts. These things always fall down. It's kind of annoying. And then this isn't an ad for Display, but these things are freaking awesome. And I know they sponsor a lot of YouTubers, so if you're watching this Display, hit me up. I mean, look how cool that is. So it just attaches to the ball of the magnet. Each one's like signed and everything. They're just really cool. And you just stick it right on there. Boop. There you go. And then of course my gloves and my racing sock shoes from Simhound. I love these. They're just the perfect mix of like what the sole that you get, especially with the direct drive pedal, needing a little extra oomph to kind of push on it. But they're not, you know, like a full-on racing shoe. So they're a little bit better than like the sim racing socks, but not quite like a full shoe. I just love those things. And again, we'll talk about the light kit back here. So it's one of those like ambient ones that is connected to this little camera right here, which is constantly reading my monitor. Right now I just have it on like a fancy little pattern, but through my app I can control it, and this camera reads the screen and then displays the colors. I don't think I quite have it calibrated yet. For whatever reason, this lower corner is always purple. Like even if I'm like on the green here, it just shows purple. But so I'm just working on calibrating that a little bit, but it's pretty cool. It just adds more to the ambience. Thinking about where I want to go from here, like I mentioned, I'll probably leave it this way for a while. I mean, I think, you know, I've got it right to a really good spot, but I think the next thing I want to do is put a butt kicker right here. So they have this mount as part of the kit when it comes with the seat, where you can easily mount a butt kicker from there. If you're not familiar with that is, it's like essentially just like a subwoofer that connects to the PlayStation and reads the audio. So like your gear shifts, when you run over a curb, tire squeals, all those kinds of things. And it feeds back to this, essentially a subwoofer under your seat, which can cause, you know, which you feel the vibrations and stuff in the seat. So it's not quite like a motion rig, but it's real similar, you know, so you'll kind of get a little bit of feedback in the seat and kind of add to the immersion. So I think that's the next thing that I want to add, but I mean, that might not be for a bit. So that's where we're at right now. That's my full setup. Let me know what you think. Rate my setup if you want. Let me know if you got any better ideas about ways to kind of add to it or expand it. Maybe, I mean, I kind of like this wheel. It's a little small, but you know, I like the wheel. So I haven't really considered getting like a fancier wheel at the moment, but yeah, so let me know what you think. Leave some comments, like this video, subscribe. I'm trying to create some more content built around this. So I'm trying to get back in the YouTube game. So other than that, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you next time.